Hello everyone, and welcome back for the second time today. We got Week 3 NFL Pick'em. Week 3 is right around the corner. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow we got Thursday Night Football. I'm getting on my picks today. We're going to be going over my score predictions, what I think of each game. And yeah, we got some good ones this week. So let's go. Thursday night, I wouldn't count this as a very good one. We got the Dolphins at the Jaguars. It's a fun game. Don't know why it's Thursday night, but hey, every team needs a primetime game. And honestly, it should be a fun game. We got Minshew and the Jaguars taking on Fitzpatrick and the Dolphins. Minshew and the Jaguars are kind of hot, you might say. He's looked very good throughout the season so far. I liked him a lot in the offseason when I watched the film. No DJ Chark this week maybe, so that could be an issue, but we've seen Keelan Cole step up. We've seen a lot of guys in that offense step up and do pretty well. So I'm not too concerned about Chark possibly missing the game. I like the Jags offense. There's going to be some scoring. We saw that Dolphins offense put up 28 against the Bills last week. It should be a very fun game. Nothing too crazy, I don't think. It doesn't have too many playoff implications I'm not expecting, but it should be a fun game to watch. I got Jaguars winning 27-23. Next, we've got the Bears at the Falcons. We got a 2-0 team versus an 0-2 team, but somehow the 0-2 team is favored by 3 points. And I've got the Falcons win by 3 points, 26-23. And I think there's a reason they're favored by 3. I mean, they're going to win here. Trubisky has looked decent somewhat. I'm not buying this new Trubisky. I mean, he can definitely prove me wrong. I'd love to see him prove me wrong. I want to see a little bit more consistent play from him week in, week out. Sorry, Evan. But the Falcons offense is just too good. And yes, they lost to a top 10 team and put up 39 against the Cowboys. And they should have won that game. I just don't think the Bears offense is going to be able to keep up. They would have, if they put up that much on the board, they would have beaten most teams in the league. Unfortunately, they played two of the best offenses in the league, and they lost. But the Bears are not one of the best offenses in the league. Yes, the defense is good, but it's not as good as it was 2 years ago. So I like the Falcons winning this game. The Falcons offense is going to keep rolling with Julio and Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage. I'll take that over Mitch Trubisky all day. So, yeah. Next, we got one of the games of the week. We have got the LA Rams at the Buffalo Bills. And one of the most exciting games. We got two top 10 teams. Rams are my 7th best team, Bills 9th, and I've got the Rams coming out on top here, despite it being in Buffalo, 24-23 Rams. And, I think it's going to be very interesting. And yes, it's in Buffalo, but if this was a couple months away, I might take that into account a little bit more. The weather would be really cold, especially coming from Los Angeles like the Rams are. Yes, it's cross country. I don't think the road matters too much, especially without fans. I'm interested in this quarterback matchup. We got Josh Allen, Jared Goff, very different guys. Josh Allen is going to be a guy that isn't going to get you everything in the system, but he provides a lot outside the system. Jared Goff is a guy that is going to get you everything in the system, doesn't provide anything outside the system. So very different quarterbacks here. I think they both do a pretty good job. I think we've seen this Bills team really have a dynamic passing attack this first couple weeks, and a part of that is a credit to the Bills. Stephon Diggs, the addition of that has come up big for them so far. But I think it's also a little bit credit to the bad defenses they've played recently. And, I think the Bills offense is going to get slowed down this week. We got the matchup that I'm looking forward to most, Stephon Diggs versus Jalen Ramsey, who is the second best corner in the NFL. And Diggs is playing one of the best receivers in the NFL right now. Should be a very, very fun matchup, and that could very well determine things. Can Ramsey shut down Diggs? Can Diggs put up a lot on his head? Should be fun. And I think the Rams offense is not going to be too slowed down by the Bills defense. But I think the Ramsey, that number one guy on Stephon Diggs, is going to be a little shocking to the Bills. What are they going to do? I think Josh Allen and that offense is going to get slowed down this week. Rams are going to squeak by the Bills 24-23 in a close battle. I think it's going to be an impressive game from both teams. Next, we have the less exciting game. We got Washington football team at the Cleveland Browns. I've got Cleveland winning this one 26-20. And I think it's just, there's way more talent for Cleveland, just all around the field. Yes, Washington's front seven is very talented, but everywhere else is just, outside of Terry McLaurin, it's just, not subpar pieces, to put it lightly. Much improved Cleveland offensive line. We've seen it actually be decent this year. Should be all right against the Washington front seven. I'm not too concerned about it. I don't think it's like a huge mismatch like it was week one, against the Eagles, where their offensive line was just beat up all around. Baker and the Browns, they looked pretty good last week. They put up 35 points. Yes, it was against the Bengals defense, but I can't fault them for putting up 35 points. I got to put up 26 in this one. Washington's offense has not looked so sharp. I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up with Baker and those weapons. So, Myles Garrett, I'm excited to watch that. He should have a day. And Browns have just feasted on bad teams. So I like Cleveland by 6 here, 26-20 against the Washington football team. Next, we have got the Tennessee Titans at the Minnesota Vikings. And if you asked me at the start of the year, what are you thinking of this game? I'd be like, wow, this is a great game. Titans at Vikings, we got two top half teams for sure, but we're looking at the 26th best team in football in the Minnesota Vikings. There's no urgency. They're terrible. They just can't do anything. The Titans are good. They don't beat themselves. Derrick Henry is going to have a game. He's going to run all over this defense. A.J. Brown might be out, but Jonnu Smith, Adam Humphries, Corey Davis have all stepped up in the receiving game. Should have no problem against this Vikings defense. As I said, there's no sense of urgency for this Vikings team. Kirk Cousins has looked really bad. They've not been able to get the run going, which is the strength of their team. That's what they do. The Titans do not beat themselves, and right now, the Minnesota Vikings look like they need some help from the other team if they're going to get a win, and the Titans are going to help them out with that. So, Titans are going to get an easy win over Minnesota here, 27-19. Next, we've got the Las Vegas Raiders, almost said Oakland there, at the New England Patriots. Two pretty good teams here. We saw a surprise win from the Raiders Monday night over the Saints. Raiders are all offense and, no defense. So, New England has shown in their offensive capabilities, almost beat a very hot Seahawks team with Russell Wilson. Cam has looked very good. He's looked like Superman. He's looked like Carolina Cam, even better maybe. New England almost beat Seattle, which is like a much upgraded Raiders with a better quarterback, with more talent on the roster. So I think we're going to see New England win here, 28-24. No defense from the Raiders. Very explosive, fast offense, good play calling from Gruden. But I think Bill Belichick and this Patriots defense is going to do a good job shutting it down, send them to 2-1. And the New England Patriots are going to move to 2-1 as well. So I've got New England winning 28-24. Should be an interesting game. Maybe we could see Raiders go 3-0. I'm not predicting it though. And yeah, next we've got the 49ers at the Giants. And similar to what I was talking about with the Titans-Vikings game, if you asked me what this game was going to be like at the start of the year, I would have said, this is going to be a very bad game. We got one of the best teams in the league and one of the worst teams in the league. And they're playing each other. But 49ers right now are all banged up. I've got them winning still, 23-19. I don't think they're going to lose this game. And it's mostly because the Giants are the second worst team in football. 49ers should do just enough. There's still a lot of talent on that team. They get Ayuk back this week, which is promising. McKinnon should be able to get a good workload. He was pretty efficient last week. Still a talented defense all around. They're going to make Daniel Jones uncomfortable, and we've seen what happens when Daniel Jones becomes uncomfortable. It's not good. And so I just think that the 49ers are going to add a win column to this. I think it's going to be a relatively boring game. I mean, we got Nick Mullins starting for the 49ers over Jimmy G. It's just not going to be fun. But 49ers are going to do just enough. They're going to make Daniel Jones just uncomfortable enough. They're going to sweep by with the win, 23-19 over the Giants. And yeah, they're going to move to 2-1. Next, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Philadelphia Eagles. And I hate to keep saying this, but it's another game that I wouldn't think would be a relatively tough decision, but kind of is. The Eagles have been playing terribly. I have them as the 20th best team in the league. I had them as my Super Bowl pick before the start of the year. And I had the Bengals as third worst team in the league. I still think they're down there. Eagles, I'm projecting they're going to bounce back, though. They're going to win 27-20 here. They had a tough loss to the Rams. That was not promising at all, but I think there was a relatively fluky loss to Washington a couple weeks ago. Wentz has looked terrible, and there's no way a quarterback that has been so consistently good throughout his career just turns terrible like that. I mean, it's possible, but I'm just thinking about the odds here, and when have we really seen that happen too many times in history? Guys have bad games. Guys have a couple games where they play not up to their level of play, but it's just not sustainable. Wentz is going to pick things up. He's been the problem for the Eagles the past 2 weeks, and I think that we can all agree on that. But he's going to get back on his feet. The Eagles are going to get back up on their feet. They catch a break here with Cincy, a perfect opportunity to do just that. So, despite Burrow and that offense looking good, the defense is just not good enough. I think Eagles are going to bounce back here. They're going to win here, move to 1-2, hopefully get back on track, 27-20. Next, we've got the Houston Texans at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win 24-19. I feel bad for the Texans. They've played the number 1, the number 2, and now the number 9 team. 3 top 10 teams in a row to start off the season. It's just very, very hard for them. Texans, they've really struggled. Watson has struggled when he's under pressure. And guess what? He's going to be under pressure quite a bit in this game because that amazing front seven from the Pittsburgh Steelers, bad O-line of the Texans, it's just going to be ugly, I think, for the Texans. That offense is really missing DeAndre Hopkins. I didn't think it was going to be as big of an issue as it is, but they're missing that guy that can easily get separation and you can get the ball to whenever you need it, and you're not completely relying on deep plays. But Steelers offense is not great. It'll do just enough. I think it's a good offense, average offense in the NFL. So, yeah, I think the Texans are going to continue struggling. Hopefully they can get back on track later in the season. It's just such a rough start playing the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Steelers to start the season. So, yeah, Texans are moving to 0-3. Steelers are moving to 3-0. So, next we have got the Jets at the Colts. I've got the Colts winning this one, 27-20. The Jets are the worst team in football right now. They're just bad. And the Colts are going to beat bad teams. I don't think the Colts are particularly good, but they're good enough to beat the worst teams in the NFL. And that's what the Jets are, the worst team in the NFL. So, Rivers has been a roller coaster. Just a better overall roster for the Colts, more talent on the offense. They've got a very, very good offensive line, which the Jets do not. I just don't see the Jets winning this one. I think they're just going to continue to struggle. Darnold has been bad. The defense has been bad. Their best weapon is hurt. The 2 best defensive players are gone on that defense. I know I keep talking about it, but there's no leader. There's no leader. There's no focal point of that defense. It's just in shambles right now. So the Colts, I don't think they're very good, but they're going to beat the Jets. They're going to beat the bad teams this year. They're good enough to do that. So Colts win 27-20 against the Jets. Next, we've got the Los Angeles Chargers playing the Carolina Panthers, 24-20. I've got the Chargers winning this one. And Justin Herbert, he's going to be starting again, which I think is honestly unfortunate for Tyrod Taylor, but I think it's a blessing for the Los Angeles Chargers. Herbert looked much better. The offense looked much better with Herbert than it did with Tyrod Taylor. It just looked bad with Tyrod Taylor. Did not look that way with Justin Herbert. Panthers, they're all offense, no defense, and we've seen what this Chargers defense does to very good offenses. And last week we saw with Kansas City, absolutely shut down. Panthers going to get stuck in a hole, not going to be able to dig out of it. The Chargers and Herbert are going to do just enough against a defense that is not good whatsoever. Herbert's going to get comfortable. I just like the Chargers in this game. The score is going to be 24-20, but it's going to be a relatively comfortable win all the way throughout for the Chargers. And then next, we've got the Buccaneers at the Broncos. And this is another game. I keep talking about it. If it was week 3 and I looked at the calendar and I said Buccaneers at Broncos, it would have been a very exciting one. I mean, you got Broncos, who are going to be a rising team with Drew Lock. But guess what? They've got Jeff Driscoll at quarterback now. And he is not Drew Lock. He does not have the same upside talent as Drew Lock does. So that is a big concern for me. Cortland Sutton is out for the season. You got 2 rookie receivers leading that offense. It's just rough. Von Miller is out. It's just everything has gone wrong for the Broncos, which is unfortunate for them. And the Buccaneers, they're getting things together. They're going to have a good rest of the season. We saw them struggle a little bit week 1 against the Saints, but they bounced back last week against the Panthers. They got another good matchup here against the Broncos. They're going to get things on track. They're going to put up points week to week. Brady is still Brady. There's a lot of talent on that roster. Defense is underrated. I see him handily winning this game 28-19. Next, we've got the Lions at the Cardinals. Lions are going to lose again to the Cardinals, who are one of the hotter teams in football. Cardinals are going to move to 3-0. Kyler is looking like an MVP. He's looked very, very good. DeAndre Hopkins, we talked about how much the Texans were missing him. Cardinals are benefiting from having DeAndre Hopkins big time. He adds a huge threat to that offense, and it's very, very fun to watch. I mean, Kenyon Drake, I expect him to get a little more involved. Fantasy owners, don't panic. He will be okay for you guys. And I just don't see this Lions team competing. Matthew Stafford has not looked great whatsoever. He's looked bad, honestly. And this is a guy that I thought was the 6th best quarterback in football before the season started. He's not looking like it right now. Galladay should be coming back. That should definitely help out the offense. But I just, the Lions defense is so bad. The Cardinals are going to tear it up. I just don't see the Lions winning this game unless they really surprise us. Cardinals win 24-17 pretty easily. Next, we've got 3 very, very good games in a row to talk about. Exciting. And first one, the Dallas Cowboys at the Seattle Seahawks. We were talking about Atlanta earlier and how they lost to 2 very explosive offenses. Well, guess what? These are the 2 very explosive offenses they lost to. The Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks might be the hottest team in the NFL right now. Russell Wilson is playing absolutely out of his head, looking like the best player in football maybe. DK Metcalf looks super good. Tyler Lockett, as always, is consistent. The offensive line is not looking as bad as I thought they might look to start the year, and maybe that's because of Russell Wilson, but I think they're just not as bad. The defensive line is the one concern, but that's why I think it's going to be a shootout. I mean, the Cowboys have put up points all year long. They're going to do it again. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb has looked great. Amari Cooper. It's going to be really, really fun to watch. I think we're seeing 33-28. That's a really high-scoring game in the 60s. So it's going to be one of the most fun games to watch. We got Dak Prescott against Russell Wilson. Can Russell keep rolling? I think he's going to tear apart this Cowboys secondary, and the Cowboys aren't going to be able to keep up. They're not going to blow the lead like Atlanta did. They're just a better team overall than Atlanta, as we saw week 1, 38-25. I just don't see the Cowboys winning this one, but it's going to be a very, very fun one to watch. It's a fantasy goldmine game. So if you've got any players in that matchup, definitely start them. Super fun to watch. I'm excited for that one. Next, we've got one of the best games of the week. Can the Saints get back up on their feet? Can the Packers keep rolling? I've got the Packers beating the Saints 30-26, moving to 3-0, and the Saints moving to 1-2, which is not what I expected from the Saints at all. Aaron Rodgers has looked amazing. Aaron Jones has looked great. The Packers offense is super versatile, very explosive. And the Saints is looking like the opposite. You've got Drew Brees really, really struggling. We've seen some inaccuracies, some mistakes that we just are not used to seeing Drew Brees make. And it's really hard to see because, maybe it's because of Michael Thomas. I think they really, really miss Michael Thomas. He's the only one that really opens up that passing game for them. And really the only weapon for them is Alvin Kamara at the moment. It's just dinks and dunks nonstop. I don't think it's going to get it done against this Packers team that's going to be able to get the ball down the field really quickly if they need to. The Saints aren't going to be able to do that. So unless the Saints really turn things around, unless Drew Brees really turns things around this week, I got Packers winning it. But should be a fun one nonetheless. 2 top 5 teams in my opinion. So yeah, we'll see. Next, we've got the game of the week, game of the year, according to a lot of people, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Baltimore Ravens. and this is the one I'm most excited to talk about, most excited to watch. I feel like it's very interesting to me. I was flipping back and forth between them. I got the Ravens winning it 30-27. Chiefs, we've seen them. I think I can see both teams having mismatches against each other this week, which is very interesting. Chiefs, we've seen struggle against cover 3 zone style defenses. For example, the Chargers in this last week, they really struggled against that Chargers defense, which plays a much more zone heavy scheme than the Ravens do. The Ravens do not do that at all. They're very confident in their corners. Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters play a lot of in your face man coverage on the outsides. They like to blitz quite a bit, and that's what Patrick Mahomes thrives off of. And the Chiefs have just been much better against that style of defense over the course of the year, over the course of the years than they have against the cover 3 zone style defenses like the Chargers play. So that's a mismatch. But then on the other hand, we look at the Chiefs. The biggest weakness on that very, very good roster is the run stopping, and it's not even close. It's becoming more and more apparent. And guess what the Ravens do best? They run the ball up your gut consistently through the game. They get those 5-yard runs consistently. And I'm picking the Ravens here because this is the difference. We've seen the Chiefs come out struggling a little bit. The other teams have scored quickly and the Chiefs have to climb back. Yes, they have Patrick Mahomes. He's always there to save the day. He is the best quarterback in the NFL after all. But what the Ravens do is they step on your throat and just pin you there better than any team in the NFL because they can run the ball and continue to score. Most teams, when they play that way, they are giving the other ball opportunities. Yes, they're running time off the clock, but they're not scoring nearly as much. The Ravens can keep with their play style and still put up points. They're running time off the clock. I think that the Ravens are going to jump ahead early and just the game is it's going to get closer. Patrick Mahomes is going to work his magic, but it's just going to be a little too much to overcome here. We're not looking at the Chargers with Justin Herbert. We're looking at the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. This is the game of the year. So excited to watch it. I think the winner of this game proves themselves as the best team in the NFL and should be a very, very fun matchup. Yeah, I've got Ravens winning that one 30-27. All right, so those were my week 3 picks. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Second one of the day. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. Peace.